How many Navy men do we have in the room? Let's stand up. I saw that one. Norfolk, Virginia. We're glad to see you here this morning. What a great way to come in and honor what you have done. We are anxious. That's great, guys.
Good background music.
We are anxious to hear your story and your successes of Norfolk, Virginia. So are you ready to give your presentation?
Aye, ma'am.
All right, you may proceed.
Very good. Good morning, I'm Marcus Jones, and I'm the city manager of the great city of Norfolk, Virginia. Today we're going to tell you a number of stories. Those stories are going to illustrate how we have taken challenges and we've transformed those into victories. Now what's important in Norfolk is that we came into that great Navy fighting song because the Navy is a part of the fabric of our community. Founded in 1682, I will tell you not only is the Navy a fabric of our community, but also water, okay? So as we talk about water, we have a thriving port, and that port has been something special, not only to the city, but also to the Commonwealth. With that, we've had opportunities to build. Sometimes we built over creeks, and sometimes we built over inlets. And I will tell you, Mother Nature tends to take back what is hers. So some of the stories you will hear today will deal with flooding.
Good morning. I'm retired Admiral Jack Kavanaugh, the president of the Freemasons Area Civic League. We're located on the banks of the Elizabeth River, right downtown Norfolk, next to the battleship USS Wisconsin, where she is now moored and serving as a museum. Our area experiences recurring flooding due to hurricanes, nor'easters, and even often just plain high tides, causing significant financial damage. Our Civic League got together with the city of Norfolk and convinced them to make some short-term fixes to help us out, like flushing stormwater structures, changing inlet covers and manhole covers, and checking on the outflow into the river. The long-term fix for Freemason will be addressed in a feasibility study by the Army Corps of Engineers that's going to be beginning shortly. All of this led to meetings with our congressmen and senators in Washington to raise this to the federal level. As a result of our coordinating efforts with the city of Norfolk, I believe we've made significant progress in beginning to address our significant flooding issues in Norfolk.
Hi, I'm Karen Tanner, Civic League President for Central Brambleton, which is nestled in Norfolk State University's community. Any Spartans in the house? All right. Anyway, I have a very unique story, just like Jack. The headlines read, on October 1st, 2010, a good day for ducks, not so much for trucks. These cute little ducks were swimming right in front of my house. Yes, right in front of my house. And this drowning tractor trailer truck, I lost my truck right on the opposite side of it. Me and my 4 children had to walk across 4 lanes of flooded floodwaters of streets just to get to my house right here. Believe me, it was not a good day in the neighborhood. We were very upset. We were trapped for 24 hours, but the city of Norfolk brought us support. But unfortunately, flooding happens, like Mr. Jones said, quite often in the city of Norfolk, and this became a call to action for the city. So the aftermath of this experience created what was called a flood task force, which allowed me, Jack, and other civic leagues and communities around Norfolk to come together and find out firsthand what the city of Norfolk was going to do to help alleviate future duck ponds in all of our communities.
And I will tell you that Norfolk in the past is not unlike any other city. In other words, we reach out to the community and we ask the community, what's important to you?
We need a bike lane.
And just like a typical city, we would respond based on what we heard. Here's a trash can. But I will tell you, things have changed. With our Neighbors Building Neighborhood initiative, we basically said that the community is smarter than us. Why don't we just listen to them? Why don't we sometimes, as a government, just get out of the way and allow the community to make decisions and to do what's best for them?
And he's right, we do need a trash can, but we also need much more than just a brand new trash can. Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. My name is Nikki Southall. I'm the former vice president and a current board member for Ingleside Civic League in Norfolk, Virginia. And I've lived in my neighborhood for 23 years, and I now raise my own family in Ingleside. And I've seen my community change and grow. I have walked, and I run, and I also drive up and down every street in my neighborhood. And so what have I noticed? That there's a trash problem in my neighborhood. So we needed a way for citizens to come together and fix the problem. So what did my Civic League do? We tried to start a Adopt a Spot program, and we partnered with the Keep Norfolk Beautiful campaign to have monthly cleanup days within our community, which helped us clean up the litter and the trash, and it also helped us to educate the youth about recycling programs within the city. And we also reached out to neighborhood businesses within the initial part of our neighborhood to help them with the cleanliness and just the attractiveness of their establishments. And that would be able to help the initial view of our outside of our neighborhood. And we also got them to sponsor cleanup days as well and give them materials so that we can help with our cleanup days and also with the flower beds of the front part of our neighborhood. And that's helped with the bond between the businesses and the citizens of the community, because everybody's part of the same community. And that's exactly what the Neighbors Building Neighborhood Initiatives does. It gives citizens tools to be able to do things like have cleanup days and give them the ability to do these things and reach out to the neighbors in the communities. And this is exactly what we need. We need to be able to have these things so we can accentuate the positives in our neighborhood.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Betty Potts, and I am the Vice President and Chair of the Neighbors Building Neighbors Program in the city of Norfolk, Virginia. Campasella Heights is located along the Elizabeth River. There you'll find beautiful old Victorian homes nestled next to bungalow and craftsman-style homes, creating a charming neighborhood. Campasella Heights was founded in the mid-1800s as Camp Stella, a Civil War encampment named after the captain's daughter. In the mid-60s, it became a predominantly African-American community that maintained a strong sense of family and pride. Although we have a strong civic league, we had the challenge of meeting goals and reaching goals and meeting the needs of our neighbors. By partnering with Neighbors Building Neighbors, we learned to harness the strengths of our neighbors as well as our neighborhood. And we formed a committee that went out and surveyed over 200 of our residents to find out who they were and what their needs were. We used this data to create programs and activities to meet those needs. This ensured that our neighborhood stayed a desirable place in which to live. So when you come home to Norfolk, you'll find this beautiful, charming neighborhood that you can come live, invest, and participate. Thank you.
And as I said earlier, the water, as it attracted commerce in Norfolk, it also attracted the military. So Norfolk is home to the world's largest naval base, but Norfolk is also home to NATO's only headquarters in North America. We have 14,000 individuals in the military that are transitioning out. So Norfolk stands ready for programs and services, not only for those individuals, but also for their families.
Good morning. I'm Sophie Williams, Director of Career Development Services, Goodwill Industries, Central Virginia, and Hampton Roads. Goodwill is all about working with people, helping them find jobs. The City of Norfolk's decision to focus on the transition of veterans into the community has created a perfect partnership. This partnership uses a holistic approach to address the needs of veterans and their families. Goodwill works with Norfolk in recruiting and preparing veterans for today's competitive work world. Goodwill partners with Norfolk and local businesses by providing employment, training, and support services to veterans and other city residents, giving them an edge in the job screening process. Goodwill works directly with Norfolk's Human Services, Economic Development, and other community partners to make sure that our commitment to veterans are made a reality. We do this by making resources easily accessible to them.
Good morning. My name is William Joseph Hocan. I'm a student at Tidewater Community College in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm also a veteran who's received 3 Purple Hearts. The reason why I chose Norfolk, Virginia is during my military career, I never learned how to duck, and neither has Norfolk, Virginia. Provided 106 jobs this fiscal year alone to veterans alone, giving us a bronze status in our state, and just recently awarded the silver and with gold in our sights. Thank you.
You will see on our shirts that although we have this great history, we also are innovative. So we're embracing our communities, our residents, we're embracing the military, and we are learning to live with Mother Nature and our issues with flooding.
Norfolk, about face!
We are Norfolk, Virginia, an all-American city.
It's great to have you here in Norfolk. I know there's some questions the panel will want to ask you, and I believe Curtis wants to start.
Thank you for your presentation. I know one area in which we all have a vital interest is what you're doing about mitigating the consequences of climate change. As the most vulnerable place in our country and already having experienced over a foot rise in sea levels, then in a real sense you're kind of conducting a dress rehearsal for Miami, San Diego, New Orleans, other places that share this vulnerability. Curious to know if the studies you've done so far and the advice you're getting from the Dutch and others gives us any clue about what adaptation measures are really feasible and how they would change defense operation, how they would change commerce in Norfolk, and how they would change life as we know it there.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Brian Pennington, I'm the Director of Intergovernmental Relations, and I try to staff the efforts to respond to that question. In Norfolk specifically, we have unique characteristics in that we're the second fastest sinking with ground subsides as well as sea level rise at the same time. We've spent over $1 million of our own city money out of general funds to try to get our arms around this, employing Food Grow Inc. And what we found is we have over $1 billion worth of infrastructure and other types of needs to mitigate the sea level rising as well as other storms. We are approaching more of a holistic approach. We have engaged our Commonwealth. They have funded a recent study conducted by the Virginia Institute of Marine Science. And in that study, they essentially confirmed a lot of the things that we were noticing just by our experiences, in that the flooding and the storm forces are getting more and more severe. There's more water that's available, so that storms are charging up a lot more. So in our case, we live in a Commonwealth, and there's little different nuances between what a state does and what a Commonwealth does, but absolutely, our Commonwealth was not really responsive to the flood issues as it was, whereas the independent cities within the Commonwealth that are on the shoreline have been working with the feds to figure out how we best would approach this. But quite honestly, what we found is that the issues are so large, but they really did not give us the opportunity to just ignore it. And so what we have found as a city is that working through our partnerships in the community, we've actually mobilized the citizens to come along to the meetings with the legislators and the decision makers about how do we as a state best approach this issue. Recently, there was a report issued by the New York City Commission looking at the Sandy flooding issues. We see there is significant application to what they have done, to what we might need to do in Norfolk, but as a state, as a Commonwealth, as a whole. So the traditional designs of hard infrastructure is a component, but we're finding those strategies that provide multiple opportunities to deal with environmental concerns, as well as transportation issues. And you're right, as the home to the largest naval base in the world, we have a serious problem in our nation if we can't get the folks to their jobs, to the bases to report. So accessibility is definitely related to flooding. I hope I answered your question, but I'll take another stab if you had a follow-up.
Difficult question to answer. There's a lot going on there. I'm interested in how the city, I don't know if this is for you, Marcus, or for your neighborhood people, but I'm interested in how the city supports the cleanup programs, the adopt a spot stuff. You mentioned kind of getting out of the way and letting the neighborhoods do things. but I know how that goes. The city still has to support some of those programs, so I'm interested in how you're doing that.
Well, I know that I know Norfolk really supports, and I know we have a lot of Civic League presidents. The city really supports our Civic Leagues a lot. And that's a very big point because they know that the Civic Leagues are the heartbeats of the neighborhoods. So what we do is that we try to come together, and with the support of the city supporting the Civic Leagues, we can do a lot with just ourselves. So with just the initial ground support of supporting the Civic Leagues, knowing that the Civic League is what really drives the neighborhood into what exactly they really need to do. And then also with the Adopt a Spot programs and Keep Norfolk Beautiful campaign. And that's also going a step national with the Keep America Beautiful campaign. And that happens in April, I believe, but it goes throughout the year. And we also get initiatives as well. It's not just cleaning up trash. There's stormwater protection, there's recycling, and we try to do that with children so that they know not to just put trash on the ground or what recycling means. And also with our waterways, we also have a program with the city of Norfolk that allows children and adults to clean up our Chesapeake Bay, to clean up the stormwater areas, and also to be able to have the initiative with that. The city gives us initiatives and rewards our neighborhoods and our communities with a cookout at our beautiful Norfolk Zoo, and just recognizes us for being able to take part of our community that way.
This is great, and Nikki's great. You could see me on the sideline. It's very difficult for me to in Norfolk, we have a professional manager form of government. So strong manager, weak mayor form of government. The mayor's been the mayor for 20 years. He's exceptional. Paul Frame's a great mayor. With that said, so I've been the city manager for about 2.5 years. So when we could do one of two things. We could basically say there are 5,000 employees that I have, or we could say there's 250,000 people that we have. So when we say neighbors building neighborhoods, we really mean it. It is a very different form of government. We don't sit in City Hall and make decisions. We go out into the community, and I would much rather have a workforce of 250,000 people than just 5,000. So it is a part of our fabric, and it is really starting to shine in the way that people really get involved, and it's not just committees or things of that nature. It's coming down and it's actually doing.